and gentlemen, please welcome the Director of Global Government Affairs for Agoda, Daniel Wu.
Good morning. Hi. Everyone, it's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Daniel, and I lead the Global Government Affairs team at Agoda, where we oversee a range of government partnerships, public policy collaborations, as well as strategic efforts all across the region and the world. Today, I'm so grateful to be here and to have you in the audience today for us to tell the Agoda story. How many of you here are familiar with Agoda? Let's see, understand. Okay. Awesome. Oh my God, this is great. So, you guys know what Agoda is. But maybe what you might not know is what's Agoda doing here in this AI space. So today I'm going to do three things. Number one, I'm going to tell you about Agoda's inside-out approach to AI deployment. Number two, I'm going to give you a sense of what a public policy enabling environment looks like for AI adoption in tourism. And three, I'm going to give you a look to the future. What makes us so excited about AI adoption in travel and tourism in Asia specifically, compared to the rest of the world? Let's get started. A little bit about Agoda. For us, we are a company that are headquartered in Singapore. Our expertise and competency lies principally in Asia, but we have currently operations in 200 countries, covering 5 million accommodation providers, and we've grown strength to strength. Myself, I'm based in Bangkok. For us, maybe one thing to share that really jumps out here is that Agoda has experienced since our 20th anniversary this year that we are the most downloaded OTA application in 2024 in the Asia Pacific region. When we take a look at what has made us say that we are today, it always comes up to three things. Number one, price. There's no better loyalty program than price. Two, localization. Localization meaning that we want to enable a customer experience through the features and services that we provide that are comparable to what you might experience with your local application in the country. For example, if you're using Agoda, you generally have the same expectation that you wanted to have with your local mobile banking app, or even your ride-sharing application, your e-commerce platform. That's what we call localization. And then three, most importantly, tech. And that's the story I'm going to tell you today. What's really unique about Agoda compared to other companies in the space is that, first and foremost, we are tech. We are a tech-first company that just so happens to specialize in travel. And that's a vision that we built over time. One of the key enablers for us to do this well, before we even talk about AI, we must first talk about our data backbone. The foundation of data science is what underpins everything that we do. One of the ways that manifests itself, even today, take away AI, just think about it in a sort of business as usual setting, is all our customer interfaces. Desktop, mobile, app, everything is on there for a reason. They go through a rigorous process of A/B testing. For example, why is the button blue, not green? Why are certain recommendations up there, not down there? This is all driven by a process of data science. We have an extremely strong data science backbone to ensure an ongoing optimization. At any given time, there are hundreds and thousands of experiments going on to ensure that we truly understand how the sentiments of our consumers are changing, what they want, what they desire. More importantly, with the age of AI, which I'll share shortly, how can we predict what they might not even know? But the AI foundation that we have is always grounded in the data. And how do we do that? Increasingly over time, what we've done is to ensure that we've built up a robust model to train our models. So earlier you heard from the panel earlier that there is no AI without data. That's absolutely true. For us, this is a simplified version on how we train our machine learning models. And in this case, it's a cat, because everybody loves cats. But that analysis is the same way that we look at accommodations. For example, when a property registers itself on Agoda, they load their images onto the onboarding portal. And through our machine learning models, we're able to quickly identify what are the key distinctive features of those images, and in turn connect that with how our consumers might want to travel. So for example, in a property image that might determine that, there's a single bed, or there's a king bed, there's breakfast, there is a pool, there's a gym, it's kids friendly. Things like this, we connect that with our consumer sentiment to ensure that everything that our consumers want or might want to see is first and foremost present in every interface that they have with us. Now let's talk about AI. Now we talk about data, now let's talk about AI. So for Agoda's inside-out framework, let me say a few things first. When we think about how we engage, we often think in terms of experimentation. Here at Agoda, one of the things that makes us very unique is that we don't go out there and just do like some big bang approach. We start small, we pilot it, we test it, and then we scale it. And the way that we start first is inside out, starting with our own teams where everyone is empowered to be an AI engineer, including myself. Everyone's empowered to be an AI professional, and then slowly expanding that out into various touch points that you see as a consumer today, including our properties. And then the next big leap forward, we evolve into the greenfield space. Let's talk about how that looks like. Empower, the first one. So I mentioned inside-out approach. The first thing that we do is we empower our agents. So one thing that our agents go through every day through customer support is the process of supporting our customers to go through troubleshooting. You want to change a reservation, change your payment method, you have questions about the property, you want to engage with a human. And this is where Gen AI plays an incredibly useful tool in order to support them as a co-pilot. Not literally Microsoft Copilot, but Copilot in a more general sense. So we help them analyze sentiments across customers, but most importantly, help automate the process of helping them respond, helping them get to where they can add the most value. Why is this important? In the age of AI, where everything is increasingly automated and manufactured, what's very special about the travel industry is that it's ultimately grounded in the human experience. When something goes wrong, you want to talk to a human. And that's what it's all about. We want to make sure that we empower our agents to improve the process of developing that human response back to our customers and making sure that they're able to resolve their issue and have a more human experience in engaging with Agoda. That's empower. It starts with inside. Once we figured out that this works to a pretty significant degree based on some of the improvements in efficiencies and customer service levels that we've seen, then we started taking the next big leap forward. We began this process a few years ago. Now, we are going from just an internal application into manifesting some of these improvements into the real world, into what you might experience as a consumer. We categorize this almost into two tranches of work. One, static, two, dynamic. Let's talk about static first. This is something that you can experience today. When you go on your Agoda application, we have, using Gen AI, are able to drive summarized descriptions of properties, reviews, and most importantly, now a property Q&A chatbot. But this is quite straightforward because it's based on static information that's already in our database that can make it easily more digestible for our consumers. So instead of clicking through 500 reviews, you can use Gen AI and figure out what's really driving the top of mind for consumers that have traveled to a specific property or stayed at a specific airlines. Now, the scary part. The dynamic stuff. So AI when it's static is quite straightforward, right? It's predictable, it's defined, it's mapped, but now we're taking it out into the dynamic space. So we've taken steps in the past 1 to 2 years to do so. Number one, we're able to generate, through Gen AI, the industry's first ever AI trip planner. So using Agoda's vast database of information, you're able to engage in natural language using Google Gemini to develop awareness of new properties, new destinations, new activities, and using an AI trip planner has enabled us to do that. It's not just that. We know that the customer journey doesn't begin with engaging with Agoda, maybe not all of them. It starts with first understanding on what's cool out there, where do I want to go? And then we realize that we need to take our AI experiment into the discovery phase. And that's how we were able to use Gen AI to film one creative ad once. And using Gen AI, we're able to rapidly clone that, customize that to 250 instances. What does that look like? So we filmed this with one of our Indian endorsers. And using that one film, we're able to replicate that to, for example, if you're a Thai traveler engaging with Agoda app in Thailand, and you're looking to travel to, pick a country, Kuala Lumpur, since we're here, Gen AI will help do a dub over that, and then show you destination link to you. And then once you click through, it takes you to the Agoda app that, again, you can engage through the AI trip planner, and in turn, engage through the Agoda booking and reservation experience. Now, the real stuff, evolve. Okay, so what I've shared with you so far is stuff that lies in improvements and efficiencies, but where we want to go next, the real greenfield stuff is really evolving the experience. And what better way to test that than activities? Why? Activities is a very unique space because unlike hotels, you want to go, hotels are quite straightforward, right? You want to go to a place, you want to sleep, you want to eat breakfast, it's pretty static. But activities, it's a wide range of things. You can go diving, you can go hiking, you can go food tours, you can go pasar malam. And because it's so dynamic, it's vast, it means that there's a real opportunity to use AI to drive clarity in a highly complex space. So we are now evolving Gen AI applications in order to deploy in activities as a case to enhance the search experience. So what you can expect going forward is that by engaging with Agoda, you're able to quickly, through natural language, tell the app, tell our AI assistant what you want to do, and then over time, once it learns more about you, again, through the process of engaging with many travelers around the world, it can even surface things that you might not know that you actually want to do. So that's where we see the beauty of Gen AI. Again, when we look at the inside-out framework, a key concept that we have here is the flywheel effect. You may have heard from the panel earlier, but what the flywheel effect here means is that the more users engage with our AI services, the more data that we have. The more data that we have, the better products that we can develop. The better products that we can develop, the more consumers that you have, which in turn drives more data, more engagement, more consumers, and so forth. This flywheel effect is extremely powerful, and it's one where we see very uniquely applicable in the travel space. Now, you might be wondering, okay, now that's cool, I get it, this is cool, but why is Agoda so excited about AI in tourism? Like, why are we so enthusiastic about the energy coming from Asia Pacific? And it's this one particular slide. Check out the numbers. For us, we look across the region and we see where is the highest propensity to use AI. It's in Asia Pacific. The numbers stand out for itself, starting from pre-trip discovery to trip planning to trip booking to during the trip and then going home. Asia is where we see the greatest potential to adopt AI and therefore define what the breakthrough in AI really looks like in travel. But against this backdrop, it's also important to consider that even as we look purely in the travel space, Asia is going to define the next generation of travel for the world. If you look at the map, currently US and EU are fairly mature markets, that's well understood, but Asia's growth is the highest, and that's what excites us. So a rising middle class, rapid increase in digital adoption, and then three, rapid adoption in digital tools, AI tools, means that not just the future of travel, but the future of AI in travel, we believe, is going to be defined in Asia. So, what the future looks like, how are we going to shape it? When we look at this from a government to private sector engagement, we come down to three core principles. If there's one slide I really hope that you can take away from this on why we're so enthusiastic and so committed to this, it goes down to this one very simple slide. Travel is fundamentally a team sport. In the travel ecosystem, it's not just online travel agents, it's offline travel agents, accommodations, airlines, national tourism organizations. It's a huge value chain. No one can succeed by themselves. So fundamentally, AI is a team sport. There's no winner eats all here. It's a fundamentally very competitive but also highly collaborative space. So we need to think in terms of, number two, building long-term systems. One thing that we try to shy away from is just solving for symptoms. So for example, a symptom would mean, let's say there's a drop in performance in inbound travel. That's a symptom. And then you try to solve for the symptom by, for example, increasing your marketing budget. That's again solving for the symptom. We want to go deeper. We want to look at addressing what are some of the real systematic issues and what are real systematic opportunities that we should go after. And for us, we deeply believe that technology is going to define the way forward for Asia and therefore the world. Third, how do we figure it out? Insights. Where Agoda uniquely sits and where we engage heavily with the public sector is the intersection of travel and tech. There's a lot of companies doing travel, there's a lot of companies doing tech, but companies that do travel and tech are a handful. And that's where we see those insights coming in, starting first with the data that we're seeing in terms of consumer sentiments, all the way to how it's shaping national level performance or even regional level performance in terms of inbound travel, domestic travel, and outbound travel all across the region. So what does a policy framework look like? So this is our bread and butter when it comes to these conversations. I want to share 4 principles, and I'll give you one as a food for thought that is really important for us in travel. Number 1, enabling frameworks for AI. It's well understood, everybody talks about this, but let me call out that it's very important to distinguish high-risk AI deployments, for example, healthcare and finance, to low-risk AI deployments, for example, a property chatbot. Because of this spectrum of deployment, one-size-fits-all AI regulation no longer works. It's important to consider sector-specific variances and how we can account for that to ensure that we don't inherently create unintended consequences when it comes to policy restraints. Number 2, data governance and privacy. It's very important that as governments increasingly adopt privacy-first frameworks, that also it doesn't inadvertently impede machine learning models and AI deployments. This is especially important, especially in the case of travel. It's a global game. It's a global industry. Agoda, for example, is in every country. If there were sufficient fragmentation in data governance, data localization, AI ethics guidelines, it creates an environment where we aren't able to scale. And ultimately, that creates a more degrading consumer experience. We don't want that. So interoperability without undue hindrance will be key. Third, infrastructure investment. Asia is a big place. Everybody knows. It goes from Japan, Korea, all the way down to Malaysia, Indonesia. Economic diversity is abound. So is technological diversity, and therefore infrastructure gaps remain. If we want to use AI, we must first be able to access AI. And that starts with the bottom of the stack. So telco, dark fiber, submarine cables, infrastructure backbones, that has to go all the way up to the top of the stack to enabling accessibility to machine learning models and LLMs as well. Fourth, workforce development. Everyone, we believe, has the potential to be an AI professional. At Agoda, we're taking that step already. We want to enable the industry to do that. We have launched a number of training programs now all across the world, starting in our island. And over time, we hope to enable the upskill and reskilling of every tourism professional to be an AI professional. Lastly, I want to leave you with this food for thought. In the travel space, I mentioned, it's a hugely diverse space, financially, economically, even in business segment. But the reality is that AI may not be for everyone. Think about that. So while there's a lot of enthusiasm for AI adoption, economic and digital inclusion still has to remain front and center. So let me ask you this, and you can come talk to me afterwards. I'd love to talk to you. As we think about the future of successful adoption in AI, what about stakeholders that can't or won't adopt AI? What does success look like for them in the future of AI? When it comes to public policy, we need to be considerate and inclusive of how it might affect this ecosystem, because in the future, I think we see it's going to be a coexistence. Companies that adopt AI really well, some do a hybrid, some maybe not so much, and that's okay, because every person's version of success is different. So as we think about engaging with governments on public policy, we always put digital AI inclusion front and center. And with that, I want to say for us, our commitment remains always to bridge the world through travel. And the travel experience, it's always grounded in the human experience. Before we think about scale, before that magic starts, it first starts with that human moment between every traveler traveling to every country, experiencing something real for the first time. We think AI will augment that. And for us, this is why the opportunity is so big. Last year, the UN Tourism estimated that 1.3 billion travelers circulated throughout the globe. According to the ASEAN Tourism Association, ASEAN welcomed a total of 123 million travelers. What does that tell you? That's a 900 million traveler opportunity right there. And we believe that that future is going to be shaped by ASEAN, it's going to be shaped by AI, and we're looking forward to building that future with Malaysia, with ASEAN, and with Asia. So with that, thank you very much. Thank you for listening.